Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. May I now invite the Chief Secretary of Bihar, Pratyaya Amrit, to come here. Thank you. Thank you. And we are in the presence of, when I last met him, was in the Energy Secretary, 2017. Yep, your memory is very good. And I do recall that you had won many awards of excellence in turning around public sector units that were ailing apart from completing projects. And here we have a subject that I think you're no better than you to talk about, which is the turnaround state and what should be Bihar's vision for the future through leadership, policy and purpose. 3 points. So over to you first.
Thank you very much. And I was just going through the schedule today's, and a lot of my colleagues, they have spoken about, I can see Mihir is right here. Infrastructure, I just heard Kundan, Vinay, I think Nitish Mishra ji has spoken about ease of doing business. First and foremost, I would like to thank all of you for giving us this opportunity. Welcome to Bihar. It has been 8 years. It's always a pleasure to see you people here. And this topic, what you have written at the back, right. The state of the states, Bihar is first. Yes. So I would seek your permission. Right. Give me, because the clock is ticking. Yes. I know the next speaker. So I would like to have 8 to 10 minutes. Done. Normally I'm very comfortable when I am speaking from a podium. You're welcome to. And then I'll just come back to you.
You're welcome to do that.
Thank you. I was seeing the topics, and if I have to sum up...
May I just request the camera persons? They were not expecting that. I hope you got the focus right. Thank you. Yes, go ahead.
It is about the turnaround state, the charting the vision for Bihar's future through leadership, policy and purpose. Now, these 3 words are very significant, and I would like to start with the point that today, where Bihar is, if you see our story of last 2 decades, Bihar ki jo kahani hai, this story is of resilience and turnaround. And this has not happened by accident. No. These 3 words which you have mentioned for the future vision, this is already with us, and this has happened, this turnaround, this story, this is because of this committed leadership, prudent policy designing, and of course, a clear sense of purpose. So today, the foundation, the platform is ready. We have set the stage for our future. And here, I'll be very candid. According to me, the focus squarely now is on the next generation. Creating opportunities so that our youth, this is something which we keep listening to, that the kind of opportunities which we get outside Bihar, places like Bengaluru, Gurgaon, Mumbai. So what I'm talking about is that creating opportunities so that our youth can build their future in Bihar itself. It's very important, and they should drive the state's progress further. It is also, my colleague is here, on industrialization, urbanization, with improved quality of life. This is very significant, that the pace of urbanization, I'll dwell on this, industrialization, my colleague would have shared with his thoughts, vision about Bihar. But our goal is that the prosperity should be accompanied by better living standards. Now, what does this mean? It means we need physical and digital infrastructure. That is so important. And therefore, I am confident that by 2047, Bihar, we will not only catch up with the developed states I can tell you, sir, in India, but in many ways, like in past, we will set new benchmarks. Now, as I mentioned about it's a very short thing how we reached in last 2 decades. What has been the hallmark of the government's approach? Look at our resolves, Saat Nishchay. Now, these resolves, Saat Nishchay, were backed by massive resource allocation and very rigorous monitoring. So that's how we started in 2015 on our 7 resolves. And when we realized that we have cleared one level, the new challenges came, then we launched part 2. That was Saat Nishchay part 2. And we wanted to shift the entire focus towards making Bihar a self-reliant, developed state. So, as I mentioned, the leadership, the role, what is the policy, what was the purpose, it is so clear. If you look at some of the policies, we started talking about Har Ghar Bijli, Har Ghar Nal Ka Jal. These policies in itself are indicators as to how Bihar's growth story was evolving. The kind of focus, this journey has been a stupendous one, and therefore this helps us to set that platform. And now, if you ask me, we all as a team, we feel we are poised for a leapfrog. And our vision 2047, when I see Viksit Bharat 2047, the goal of Government of India, when our country will be celebrating 100 years of independence, we envision Bihar to be a thriving, inclusive and innovative state. We envision a state with a robust industrial and agriculture economy. We are extremely proud of our agro base which we have and the high human development indices, world-class infrastructure. Kundan was mentioning about some of the expressways which we are already working on, and of course, sustainable cities and ample opportunities for every citizen. We always say, Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. And it is so important, and here I would especially like to mention about our youth, that they should realize their potential within Bihar at home without needing to migrate out of compulsion. That is what we look at as far as future is concerned. Now, what are the key growth drivers? One, obviously it is going to be agriculture. We are extremely proud of our high fertile Gangetic plain and of course our hard working farmers. बहुत गर्व है हमें, हम लोगों को जो विरासत में जो प्रकृति ने दी है, we are extremely proud of it. And we are marshalling all our resources to achieve the best. But what we see is we are going to move from agriculture to agribusiness. We talk about the food processing industries. According to me, by 2047, Bihar will not be a state where farming will just be a subsistence kind of a thing, but a thriving business. And already we are having a lot of initiatives we are taking, we are planning our policies. If you remember, sir, Bihar, hamara road map hai, agriculture road map. It was launched by the then Honorable President and of India, and we have been following it rigorously. So we want to build on these initiatives, and by 2047, how I see is a significant share of Bihar's farm output will be processed locally, be it sugar, grain, fruits, fish, poultry, dairy. We are all doing very well in these sectors. Kundan, the ADG, is a farmer himself. He's sitting here. He dons various hats and is very obsessed with the, rural prosperity, how to generate rural employment. So we have a lot of our colleagues like this. The second engine of growth, according to me, what Mihir would have spoken to you is rapid industrialization. He would have spoken about the ease of doing business. He would have spoken about the Bihar Industrial Promotion Package, which we have launched very recently. Now, I see as a huge advantage when a lot of these economists, they say industrial investment in Bihar is just 18 to 19% of the GSDP currently. Now, this is a huge potential for us. Bihar, the strength is what? We offer skilled labor. Some of the best road connectivity in India. Power is no more a challenge for us. Law and order you have heard just now. And of course, a large untapped market. These are our strengths. So I see no reason why coming years we will not see a quantum jump in industrialization, and the estimated average age of our population is just 28. And with almost 58% of Biharis are below the age of 25. This is our strength. We are a young state with a huge demographic dividend to other. So I'm very sure power, infrastructure, law and order, the platform is ready, and the ease of doing business, the way very aggressively we are working on, and very minute things like single window system, how to make these investors, how to get these anchor industries. We are working very hard. Of course, presently we have given a target of March 2026 for the investors. But this shows our intention, sir. The government is very clear. We are here to welcome them with warm heart, and we assure from this platform, I'm assuring our future investors that please come to Bihar. We are waiting for you, and we will give you the best facilities possible. Now, when it comes to urbanization, this is another sector area of concern, but I see it as a huge opportunity. The figures which we have is 11.3% urbanized. Perhaps this would be one of the least urbanized state in the country. Therein lies our potential. And when I talk about urbanization, what I'm talking about is how do we accelerate this urbanization? When I talk about city, I'm not talking about a smart city. What I'm talking about, a dynamic, well-planned center of opportunity. These cities, they should not be chaotic, where we should be able to access to essential services like pipe drinking water and modern sewage, drainage system to eliminate water logging. It's so important. And of course, effective waste management. This is the kind of urbanization which I'm looking at to keep the cities clean. And of course, we have to develop a lot of these green public spaces all across Bihar. So this is another growth of engine as far as our future is concerned. And see our Bihar's knowledge economy and skill. Look at the medical colleges. We are going on public-private partnership big time. Look at the Patna Medical College Hospital. This is the second largest in the world, which we are making purely out of state fund. And at the same time, a lot of our districts, we are coming up with medical colleges, but on public-private initiative. So the kind of investment which we are looking at and the employment opportunities directly or indirectly, all these measures, I'm sure youth are being supported to become job creators. And my focus predominantly is on the youth because that is our strength. And they are going to become job creators as well as job seekers. Now, if you see our startup policy, I'm sure Mihir would have touched on this, seed funding, incubation, mentorship. The infrastructure which we created in last 2 decades, now we are moving towards expressways. The kind of land which we have acquired all across the expressways, where we are planning to set up these, almost you can say modern industrial cities, which will act where we are going to attract these anchor industries. So our, I can call it infrastructure 2.0. Bihar started, look at our journey, sir. We started with very fundamentals. We started with, building blocks. And today the platform is ready for a huge jump. Look at our renewable energy policy, one of the best in the country. We are very conscious about the environment challenges, the target which Government of India has given to us. So I will just conclude to say that, let me tell everybody in this room that, sir, the Bihar's turnaround is real. And the stage where we are now, it is going to be a leapfrog from here. And the next 2 decades, I'm confident, will see Bihar soar to the top tiers. The areas which we have discussed, these are our priorities. And we are going to take along everybody, and obviously we are looking at huge private sector investment. That is something which is going to be our focus. We have to foster millions of jobs. And we have to adapt to ourselves to the climate change challenges also. So therefore, 2047, sir, when India will be celebrating 100 years of independence, विकसित भारत के साथ में विकसित बिहार मिलेगा, निश्चित रूप से मिलेगा. मन में है विश्वास, पूरा है विश्वास, हम होंगे कामयाब एक दिन. जय हिंद, जय बिहार.
Wonderful. Wonderful. Let's give Pratyaya Amrit another warm round of applause. Viksit Bihar. We've got 8 minutes, and I like the approach you did. You laid out the vision, and you had, for all the issues that Bihar faced, you didn't look at it as a glass half empty, but glass half full. So there's that very optimistic approach towards it. Just a few points, because we are looking at an election. I don't want you to look at which party is going to come into, but any party that comes in, or any government that comes, the next government, you saw up to 2047. I'd like you to look for the next 5 years. What would be the 3 or 4 things you would advise the next government to focus on urgently?
One thing is very certain, sir, that if Bihar has to grow, then this plank, social justice with development, predominantly has to be there, sir. This is very, very important according to me. And some of the areas which I will personally advise is, look at the tourism sector. This is one sector there's a huge, tremendous opportunity for all of us, sir. So if you look at our Bodh Gaya, if you look at the particular temple, Mata Sita ka we are making in Sitamarhi, if you look at Haryarnath, which we are again thinking of developing it, look at the potential we have in a place like Munger. Chhat is celebrated across the globe, and I was very happy to read that if all goes well, this may come under UNESCO list also.
Right.
Now, the origin of this, Surya Putra, the land, if you'll see, the Ang Pradesh, Munger and that belt. So all these are potential tourist hubs. So this is another area of focus we should look at. And of course, I have mentioned about urbanization. It is something which next 5 years we have to work in a mission mode. We have done a lot of work in a lot of sectors, but urbanization is one area where we must work in a mission mode. We must break it down phase-wise, and we should start again the same thing which we did in other sectors. Let's start with the fundamentals. Look at the problem of the waterlogging which we face. Of course, the rains and the kind of contour which we have. Look at any big town. So we should start working on it. And same is for our industrialization. So we have to focus on tourism, industries, urbanization, but we should never forget the plank that development in Bihar has to be an inclusive one. It has to be social justice with development.
I think that's a very good point to take off, and really, a pertinent point, as you can see from the applause. One of the things, the image that Bihar has, I think you've changed a lot of that image in these last 5 years and the way you spoke as well. But migration, right? We all have seen that. It's not the largest state that has, largest migrants come from Bihar. UP, neighboring UP has the record for that. But what would you do to reverse that process and bring the Biharis right back here to where they belong to? And also look at per capita income, because when you're, at the end of the day, it's prosperity that will bring and keep people in their own states. Bihar, as we know, has among the lower per capita incomes, has improved, but still, when you look at the national average, far below it. And if you take a look at education again, dropout rates versus... So what would you do to reverse the migration and therefore even bring down the percentage? I'm not saying you can completely reverse it. That's not good in many ways. We do want India and the strength of Biharis and their intelligence to be spread across India. There's no objection to that. But what would you do?
The government has already set a target of creating 1 crore jobs in the next 5 years. That's a cabinet approved document. It is for everybody to see. And we have a very clear-cut goal. And as you mentioned, why this 1 crore jobs we are talking about is, see, people who are willing to migrate and go. I mean, we should not even stop them. In India, in a democracy, everybody has a right to move for better opportunities to any state which is offering them. But conscious efforts of the state government, when we are keeping a target of 1 crore, is basically primarily, this is one of the factors that how do we try to help those who want to be inside. And you heard me, if you see these 3-4 areas, and one of the very significant example could be perhaps, if you see our self-help group, the Women Power Empowerment, the scheme which has been launched day before yesterday, in presence of the Honorable Chief Minister by the Honorable Prime Minister, Mukhyamantri Mahila Rozgar Yojana. See, what is the philosophy and the basic, thing about that scheme is that what we are looking at is creating Lakpati Didis. And the kind of response which we are getting from our Didis, I don't know whether you heard them on that day, it was a live telecast on the national TVs. All these 4 women, they made us immensely proud that Bihar, how these women are shaping up the confidence and the way they were talking to the Honorable Prime Minister, responding to him. So when we are giving this money under this scheme, it is basically for their employment, self-employment. And just visualize the number of direct and indirect employment which this scheme alone is going to create in rural and urban Bihar in next 5 years. So the figures are going to be there. Industries I have already mentioned. Why our aggressive push is on this new brand, like we call it the new normal. Industries department today, the way they are branding themselves, the way they are positioning themselves, with the support of the government, is only with the purpose that we want to attract the best. If we are talking about the major anchor industries moving in Bihar, it is bound to create employment. Same as I mentioned about agriculture area, where we are talking about, from agriculture to agribusiness. Similarly, when we talk about tourism and our other policies, so all combined, see, I strongly believe that one shoe size is not going to fit all. We have our own strengths, we have our own challenges. So whatever policy which we envisage, which we make, we have to keep these things in mind. And I still tell you the kind of platform that which we have prepared. And we may not be there 3 years down the line. My colleagues will be there in our chair. But you should come again and interview them. After 3 years, you will find 80% of your questions have been answered by figures and by actual work the way we have done.
I love the confidence. I really love it. And, it's been 8 years since we did. We'll probably do in 2027 the state of the state and see how...
Sir, I have always, sorry to interrupt you, but I always believe in walk the talk.
Right.
And Bihar has done it. And it has been a huge team effort. I'm not talking about officers, individuals, the leadership and the kind of support which all of us have got. So as a team, we have performed, and I see no reason why we shall not do better than what we have done now.
It's very inspirational to listen to that. We have time for one more question, but one of the issues that out-migration happens is that homes get broken up. And I saw that happening in Kerala, when in the Gulf boom of 70s and 80s, a lot of the men went across, leaving their women behind, and that brought its own psychological issues apart from family issues that's there. The second issue that's happened is that despite the great progress that Bihar has made, is that you will see that infant mortality still remains pretty high compared to the rest of the country. Maternal mortality and childcare, these are big issues that a state needs to look at, especially because you talked of Jivika and the fact that women's employment has become one of the critical factors. And if you looked at Tamil Nadu, one of the big things Tamil Nadu did, and that's why it reached zero population growth, was not fantastic amount of education. What they did was the midday meal scheme. And with that, because the children were getting nutrition, infant mortality began to drop. And with that, the confidence of having less babies. So if you take a look at this particular aspect, what can Bihar do to transform itself and become, well, India standard, if you'd like to call it?
Absolutely. See, as I told you, every state, I mean, Kerala, when I came to the health sector during COVID, we were told it is one of the best managed state, and they have done so well as far as health is concerned, and other parameters you have rightly mentioned, sir. Now, coming to some of the specific things you have mentioned, one thing I think we all should work on in Bihar is the perception which people have about us outside Bihar. Now, you mentioned about the IMR. I'm not carrying all the figures. I was in health for last 5 years. All I can just tell you, sir, this is for everybody. They can Google it. In 2005, our IMR was 61. And now, in 2019, it is 29. And if you see our journey in MMR, we are almost better than the national average now. Why I'm only mentioning this is, when during COVID, when the fight began, and that is one of the best example India has shown to the world of cooperative federalism, where House, Center and states, we work together to tackle this problem, which most of the countries could not, the way India tackled it. So in this background, when we came to health department, and the way we all responded in COVID as a team, let me, with all humility at my command, we performed much better than states like Kerala and Tamil Nadu.
Absolutely.
Sir, jabki our infrastructure in health in 2019-20, we were just working on it. So what I'm very confident about the resilience people of Bihar. हम में कुछ बात अलग है सर, और मैं हमेशा इस चीज को कहता हूं. और we have shown many firsts in the country. Look at Jivika, the self-help group, this concept when the Honorable Chief Minister started with. It's original idea of Bihar, which was adopted by the government of India, and that became Ajivika. When we started our, special auxiliary police thing, other states followed it. When we started Har Ghar Bijli, Bihar started, and other states came into, I was in power sector that time, and country, adopted it. So I'm sure, sir, we have our own challenges and issues, but one thing we have to really work on, what I could gather is, we have to also work, Vaibhav is sitting, a very young, very intelligent officer, and we all have a lot of hopes from this batch, and their colleagues, that we should also work on the narrative, on documentation, what we do as a state, how it is, portrayed outside Bihar on various platforms. A lot of people still think of us in those Bollywood movies, Bihar ke bare mein, वो बिहार भी नहीं रहता है, कोई और स्टेट को दिखाते हैं, but they all think it's Bihar. A lot of people, they come to Bihar and they ask us, arey, it is so different. So, sir, all I can tell you, we are all set, and the platform is quite robust, and we are going to leapfrog from here, sir.
Well, with those very inspiring words, and I see the Deputy Chief Minister has also come in over here. The Viksit Bihar that you talked about is the dream that the state is aspiring for. And we wish the state all the very best with very dynamic officers. We've seen this right through the whole day, presented the case and the major developments that have happened, and also looked ahead at the future. That's a state that is looking into the future with purpose and vision and a goal. And thank you very much, Pratyaya Amrit.
And once again, sir, thank you all so much. We all look at all of you, including you, as our brand ambassadors.
Okay.
Whenever you go back to your home state, talk about us.
Thank you.
And, please spread words about us. Thank you so
Certainly.
much, sir.